Hi, I'm Dr. David Verve, and we're here with Hunter and his mom, Emmy. And Hunter, you floated once a week for the last 2 months. Describe floating to other people.
When you first hear about floating, you think, what could it be? That was my first impression of hearing the word. When I first got into the pod, it blew me away how it affected my sense of gravity. Is that how you would say it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like the floating effortlessly part?
Yeah. It really relaxed me. It calmed me down of all the stress that I've been having the couple of weeks. I feel like I've improved in school.
Has it helped your concentration and focus, or what other specific ways has it helped you in school?
It's helped me think about what can I do better, what can I work on, what I need to do once I get home.
How else has it helped you? Has it helped with your sleep? Has it helped with your anxiety? Has it helped with your mood?
It's helped with my mood and anxiety, and where I would just be more calm the entire day, being bothered by my brothers. I would get less angry if they did something.
How long do the effects last when you get out of your float and you go home, and then it's the next day and it's the next day? How long do you feel that the effects last for you?
I would say at least 3 or 4 days.
And do you feel that the floating, weekly like this for the last couple months has been a cumulative process for you? Do you feel that the effects, it's been magnified as a result of you floating as long as you have? Or how would you express to others the regularity at which you've been floating and how that's helped you?
Well, since I've been floating for around 2 months, I have seen, it's easier for me to go to bed. I don't need to take any sleep pills anymore. It's just been an all-around help.
Has it helped in the way in which you've been able to communicate? Do you find it's easier to think out loud and to talk out loud, or do you repeat yourself less often? Those kinds of things.
I repeat myself less often, and yes, I do. Say what's on my mind easier. It's easier to express my opinion for someone my age that's floating.
Any input, Mom, from your perspective? You floated along, from a mom and from a caregiver side too, and that's had its own, set of benefits. But what have you seen in Hunter over the last 8 weeks?
I think he's a lot more calm and chilled out. I think he's pretty accurate with the 3 to 4 days that he's really able to stay pretty calm. And I do think over time it's gotten farther and farther apart how long it's
lasting longer and longer each time.
I would say so. And I would say one of the fun facts about Hunter is he repeats himself a lot, as we've talked about, and that's happening less and less. He still does it, but it's not as profound. It doesn't happen several times a day. Maybe it happens once a day. I don't even think you did it at all yesterday.
What about other habits like eating? Are you slowing down more when you eat? Has that made a difference, or are you more mindful about things in any way that you're aware of, or not necessarily?
Well, as for the eating thing, I haven't really seen a change except for smaller portions, or portions.
By choice?
Portions.
Yeah.
Smaller portions by your choice?
Yeah. I would grab a smaller plate so I could fit less stuff on there.
Really? See, that's something I haven't even noticed. So.
If you see
didn't you also notice something like his skin cleared up?
Yeah,
right?
his skin has been amazing. I mean, he's 13, so he has normal boy skin.
Right.
And I mean, if you look at it now, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear for a 13-year-old boy. So.
Well, thank you so much for going through this little experiment, and I'm glad that you benefited.
Yeah, it's been really fantastic for him. I think, you know, he of course doesn't see all the great things that I see. I would say it's also helped his confidence too, which is kind of a side effect that you don't expect from it. But I think with being able to express himself better without him repeating himself and people getting frustrated at him or with him, and without you know, doing the things that creates anxiety in him, it allows him to be more confident. And that's what I notice. I think that he's making bolder choices, but they're better choices. They're not necessarily an impulsive choice just because I want to do something. It's a well thought out choice, which is great because he's still willing to take risks, just not safety hazard risks, which is happily a good happy accident.
One thing that I did want to mention too that you brought up halfway through this was you're a football player and your knee got injured, right? And tell us about that doctor's appointment where you went in for a follow-up, and I guess what you hadn't necessarily been keeping up with your physical therapy, and what was the, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was interesting. So we couldn't get him into a physical therapist with regularity because they were so booked up. He had torn his MCL, which could be a pretty significant injury. And it was about 2 weeks before your All-Star game, I think. So it was about 2 weeks before his All-Star game. And so we were coming here, of course, because we're in that part of, so we...
part of the program.
Right, so we just kept coming anyway, and I think we came the very next day after the injury. And then, so we went 2 more times. We've been here.
2 more floats.
2 more floats, yeah, in between the injury. So it was a total of 3. And the orthopedist was just blown away because it should not have healed with the amount of physical therapy that he wasn't getting. Right, so he was just like, that is a really interesting therapy, and I, you know, hadn't considered
So when you thought you were going to be out for either the season or a longer portion, you were back to play sooner.
Yeah, he was back to playing with it. He was right back, ready for the All-Star game, so he was only off for 2 weeks. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
That's excellent. Any last words for, you know, your recommendations to other teenagers, why they should, how they would benefit from floating? Just a couple last words.
I feel like it would help a lot if more people did floating. It would calm them down from stress at work or stress from school. It, like, as my mom said, it helped me heal. So